seconds you need on the outside. Good 30-second shot.
David.
All right. You know Ohio too, I guess.
Worked with him at those Alabama.
Well, you did in Geneva. You came from Geneva. What the devil are you taking that thing for?
We're going to let a lot of them. That's what we're doing a story about. Well, they've automated. Save that much money.
A lot of money. What they were doing.
About $2 million.
Those clubs.
You find it all right?
How you doing? You got me on the head. Good. Just move back a little bit. There you go. Up here on the camera. Yeah, there's somebody to get on TV like that. You may hurt your legs a little bit, though. I said, boy, y'all need somebody to start fishing. You bet your life. I don't play they're going to start here.
active brush.
Just, well, I'd light a flash right there with a flash and pick up the UPC code on the bottom.
Stroke.
Yeah.
They may have that here. I suspect your employees are kind of upset.
Everybody wait.
Yeah. Said it was all over the equivalent of 114 full tires for this year. One shot of that bill.
Hold everything and send it off.
Man, I appreciate it, Jeff. Like that. Uh-huh.
The car display had that in before.
And, I talked to Mr. Cunningham about it.
Well, our prices are up already, but they wouldn't go up any higher. I don't feel that you would have to have any higher market because you'll get it on. Jack Black. Yeah, that's not what I ordered. I just said Jack Black doors, please.
Well, I don't care, it's not for me, I'm buying from somebody. Well, it won't make any difference whoever sees something can buy it.
It'd be like that, $6.55. Okay, your fuel switch is $18.50. 750 mils is $6.50.
And you have it here for
I want you to buy one person, one off.
one operator.
No, it's two. Sam comes in at 6. I manage.
Then you get into that old problem, what do they call that, what is that they always used to holler about those freight rates?
Yeah, that's right. The variation in equalization. Yeah, you got it there. Well, all of our stuff comes in by common carriers. Yeah.
That's in Trump.
Yeah, that's in from our warehouse to our stores. That's under contract. It's a bid thing. It's open competitive bid. Okay. And I think they're.
You're able to, now,
You talking about in our warehouse?
Uh-huh.
Well,
into office, I'm not going to order that he has vacated his position as the administrator of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board, but I will state that the evidence is quite obvious that he is holding two important positions. One, the one that's here before the court, the ABC Board, and I think it's quite clear that he's spending a great, not just general time, but a great amount of time as the Assistant Finance Director. And it appears to me that the code is very clear that the administrator shall devote his entire time to that office. I don't know whether they put that in there that you may have some conflict. I can foresee that there could be some conflict with the Finance Director and the ABC Board. I'm not saying that there is, but I can perceive that. So I'm going to, and he's to be commended for spending a lot of time, Mr. Broadwater, and I think that's certainly true from the evidence that I've heard here, but it appears to me that using it in a different sense about your allegiance, I think you can't owe allegiance to two masters. I think you got this two important jobs, you should be doing one or the other. And so I'm going to state that and require that Mr. Broadwater report back within 7 days which job he wants to have, either the Assistant Finance Director or the head of the ABC Board. But I don't think he's vacated it under the law of the state of Alabama from the cases that I have read. But I think he should decide which job he wants to hold. And I think that the law seems to be clear. Now, as to the issue of layoffs, I think that the law seems to me to be pretty clear that these employees, and I'm not going to call this a class action because it is not a class action. We have not had sufficient evidence before us, but I do believe that these employees, James Scott Davis and Carolyn K. Talley, who have been before the court, should have the opportunity to go before the Personnel Board, and that's where I think they should go, before the Personnel Board, because the law says that there's a presumption of good faith, and I'm going to accord that presumption, that they were laid off in good faith as far as I'm concerned. So I think the burden would then be upon them before the Personnel Board to present that matter to the Personnel Board. So as to these two employees only, I am going to stay and join them from being laid off until their matter can be presented before the Personnel Board. Since you're only talking about two, I think that Mr. Legg indicates that certainly should be a fair determination, and then if that would probably determine all the rest of them, since the basic issues will be before the Personnel Board. But I think that's properly where it should be. And since I'm staying these two employees, and since this seemed to be a vitally important issue to the ABC Board, to Mr. Broadwater, to these employees, and to the people of Alabama, this matter should be heard as quickly as possible. So I would hope that the Personnel Board, and I'm not going to tell them what to do because that matter's not before me, but I would hope that this matter could be determined as quickly as possible before them. And I'm going to maintain the jurisdiction of this matter so that in the event either side decided to come back on certiorari, the same matter would still be before the court. Upon review, I believe that would be the better practice. I'll hear your gentleman on that. It may rather be determined here and then come back on a new matter, but you know, in case it does come back, I think the proper matter would be, as Mr. Legg says, should come here on certiorari from the Personnel Board.